And right now, before your very eyes, as promised, how about a warm welcome for Survival Essentials Beyond the Basic. This is Kaz.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate you coming out today, and hope you're having a great time at the GLEPE, the Great Lakes Emergency Preparedness Expo. I was here last year. I was doing some videos out in the vendor area, but this year I was grateful enough to gather some stuff and do a show. So without any ado, I want to get started. We've got a lot to cover, and I hope you guys pay attention. Take notes on your tablets or whatever. I will be giving some of the stuff away when I'm done, so I'll be looking forward to that. First thing I want to say is my name is Kaz. Again, welcome to the GLEPE. I've been practicing bushcraft and survival for over 6 years. My goal today is to use insight and information that may help you along in your preparedness journey. Who is Kaz? Who am I? I have a survivalist camp. It's called Birch Run MI. It's up in Frankfort, Michigan every year. This year's survival camp will be from September 20th to the 26th, and it's absolutely free. There's no charge to come. We go out into the forest. We're on state land. We're out there for 8 days. No running water, no running electricity, no running gas or propane. We're out there completely just without any essentials. We're out there for 8 days, making it happen. This will be the 6th year that we've done that. And again, it's absolutely free. It's in Frankfort, Michigan. Let me pull up my map for you. Frankfort's over here, just so you know. And what's great about Birch Run MI is that it's not about me, although I've put this together for the last 6 years. What we do at Birch Run MI is we teach, we train, we share, and we build community. Building community is by far the most important out of those 4. The reason why community is important is because if we only strive for individualism when something happens, we're not going to be ready for it. We are going to have to depend on our neighbors to help us out in a community situation. If you're an individual, it's not going to work out because if you get hurt, then you're all done. Okay? Before I get started, I just want to ask a quick question so I get a feel of the audience. How many of you have been prepping or doing bushcraft for less than 2 years? Anybody? Less than 2 years? Perfect. The second question is, how many of you have actually gone out into the woods and practiced bushcraft or survival for more than 2 days in a row? Excellent. Very good. One question I have for you is, what is it that you're preparing for? If you don't have a goal, then all you're doing is making it a hobby. So what are you preparing for? Do you have a long-term goal or a short-term goal? And what is your focus point? Is it an economic collapse? Is it a pandemic? Natural disaster? Weather disaster? Is it a man-made thing, or is it going to be nuclear? Meaning a nuclear power plant. If you're only focusing on one thing, then you're setting yourself short. You should be focusing on a multi-level incident. For instance, what I mean is if it's a man-made disaster, it's going to lead to something else. It's going to lead to either a pandemic or it's going to lead to maybe a nuclear. And the reason why I say that is because of this reason. How many of you in the audience today realize that in the 1960s, Detroit had a 3-mile island life event here in Detroit? How many are aware of that? Not too many. How many are aware of this? In 2013, the nuclear power plant on Lake Michigan dumped 80 gallons of radioactive water into Lake Michigan. How many know that? Only a handful of you. That's what I'm talking about. When disaster strikes, you don't know where it's going to lead, but I can almost guarantee you this. It's going to lead to a nuclear power plant failure. The reason why I say that is a lot of people say gas, but they have backup systems, and they have backup systems for the cooling and all this stuff. And I say, you know, you're absolutely right. But those nuclear power plants need hands-on maintenance. After 2 months, 3 months, 4 months running on their own, they need that. that hands-on maintenance. Without that hands-on maintenance, something's going to go wrong. So keep in the back of your mind that when you are preparing, what are you preparing for? What is the difference between an EDC and a bug-out bag? An EDC stands for everyday carry. An everyday carry basically is what you can carry in your car, on your side, on your back, where you're around town. Your bug-out bag is designed to get you to your bug-out location. Do you have a bug-out location? My point being is that, I talk to a lot of people and they say, well, I'm just going to go out and live in the forest or, until things calm down. That's not a good plan. The reason why that's not a good plan is it's about you and 10,000 other people have the same idea. If you don't have a bug-out location that has structure, that has water, food, shelter, solid shelter, I suggest that you make a plan, get with your neighbor or relative, and designate a bug-out location. And then when you get that bug-out location designated, I suggest that you make several travel ways to that bug-out location, including highways and on foot. Now to get on with my demonstration here, I'm going to drink the water real quick. A lot of people ask me, what is going to be the #1 barter item when stuff hits the fan? And 9 times out of 10 I hear 2 things, bullets and guns. Bullets and guns, bullets and guns. I couldn't disagree more. Couldn't disagree more. Here's why. Water is going to be the #1 barter item. Without water, after 3 days, they're dead. Sawyer has come up with an awesome system. This is very ingenious. What I like about Sawyer is a multifaceted filter. These are on sale at Meyer right now for 20 bucks. Imagine 20 bucks can save your life. You take an ordinary water bottle with a pop top, and this is what Sawyer has done. They've turned every pop bottle into a lifesaver. Every pop bottle is now going to be able to save your life. But not only that, in this kit, there's a straw, there's a cleaning system, and there's a pouch. You can also adhere it to the end, and now it's a survival straw. Also, they've got nipples on each end, which means it can be used as an inline filter. Sawyer is doing a fantastic job engineering this filter, and it's on sale right now. You can get it between $20 and $30. Great question. How many gallons? According to specifications, this can filter 1 million gallons. As long as you clean it every 100,000 gallons. That's why you have a cleaning system built into the kit. The next thing I want to talk about is food. Datrix bars. These things are amazing. Okay, there's 18 bars in here. These are U.S. Coast Guard approved. Each bar is 200 calories. This is a must-have for your bug-out bag and your EDC. Now I have 2 types of alcohol. Where do I get this? Actually, some of the survival stores that are here today may have it. You can also get it online. It's usually between $6 and $10 per brick. Now I have 2 types of MREs here. I have the MRE that's literally ready to eat, and I have the freeze-dried. Now there's a reason why I have 2 different types. The freeze-dried goes in my EDC. In my EDC I have in the trunk of my car, I also carry water with me that I change out every 30 days. So by using this freeze-dried, I'm not worried about running out of water. I carry it with me in the trunk of my car. In my bug-out bag, I use these. These are ready to eat right out of the pouch. You don't need to mix any water with this. This is food ready to eat. The reason being is that with my bug-out bag, I don't carry water. I carry very limited water, but I carry this. So when water becomes a premium, and you got to decide, do I want to put water in my food or do I want to drink it? With this MRE, you don't face that choice. And that's what's important. That's what's really important. I have a lighter here, it's completely out of fluid. Is this tool useless? No, you're right, because it provides a spark. create a fire with that spark. Outside of alcohol, what's the second most flammable thing in your medicine cabinet? Gasoline. Gasoline. Most people don't realize that gasoline will burn. Most people don't realize that gasoline is by far the second most flammable thing in your medicine cabinet. Who's got waterproof matches in their kit? Who has the UCOs? UCOs are amazing. They're completely waterproof. This is amazing. I've never seen matches do this. These are completely waterproof, the UCOs. These are a must-have for your EDC in your bug-out bag. What do you think is in here? No, good guess. What if I told you a full-size, extra-large, medium-weight winter coat and a hat is inside this large-mouth jug? When you're building your bug-out bag, you have to think outside the box. These wide-mouth jugs are amazing. You can store all kinds of stuff in there. In an emergency situation, you have to be ready for all accounts. It takes a minute to get it out. Don't pull on it too hard, you'll rip it. But if you think outside the box, you think about space, you think about what you're doing, you think about where you put it. Full size, extra large, medium weight, winter coat. Lighting. People love bright lights. They, you know, the through lane and all that stuff, you shine a half mile on down the road, those are excellent for deer hunting and things like that. If you're going to bug out and you're in a stuff hits the fan situation, having a super bright light could be one of your worst enemies because it's going to give away your location. What I recommend is the headlamp with one white light and one red light. Why? Because if you're in a situation where you see comers, people coming, and you want to turn that light off, you got one switch for off on either side. If you've got one of those fancy lights where you got to filter through a whole bunch of series of lights and you got, you know, lights flashing off and this and that and the other, you're going to give your location away. I strongly suggest that in a stuff hits the fan situation, get the light that has one white and one red. All you gotta do is just take it off your head, out of sight, out of mind. These solar lights are absolutely amazing. I have these about 5 to 6 years. These are essential for your bug-out bag and your EDC. Just toss them in your car, solar panel up. These things are awesome. They're really bright. They work really, really good. Gasoline is still burning. How many of you realize that gasoline was such so flammable and such a amazing product? I mean, you can make a fire with that. Something you can get at Home Depot, Lowe's, most of your hardware stores is called reflectives. A lot of people use this in their attic. Okay, it even says on the product here. It says that there's on here somewhere. It says there's at least 20 uses for this. Well, I figured use 21. It's for survival. What it does is that this is a sheet. What it does, it's a cold barrier. Waterproof, super thin. You're going to build a debris shelter. All you got to do is cut a size that's going to fit your torso. Don't worry too much about your legs and feet. And what this will do, it will reflect the cold back to the earth when you put it in your shelter, and it will reflect your body heat back to you. You can get this at Home Depot, Lowe's, pretty much any hardware store. One thing that people tend to overlook, that is their hands. I see a lot of people having great bug-out bags, great EDCs, but the one thing they don't have is gloves. Strongly suggest you get a good pair of gloves. These are 5-letter tactical gloves. I love these. They're really, really good. And last but not least, Ziploc bags. Actually, I got two things, Ziploc bags. These Ziploc bags are great. This is a 3" by 4". And this one here is a 2" by 3". I missed one thing, and that's about the gasoline cotton balls. See, it's about done. In my hand here, because, in my hand here, because these are so compact, I literally have 32 fire starters in my hand in this small space. 32 fire starters. They each last anywhere between 5 and 8 minutes. So with that, I just want to encourage you folks to think outside the box when it comes to survival. I really appreciate your time. You guys have any questions? Yes, sir. You can get these Ziploc bags at any arts and crafts store, whether it's Michael's or Joanne Fabrics, whatever. You can get that there. Now, one thing I want to go over is where are you planning to be when stuff hits the fan? I'm going to give you a 24-hour scenario because most everyone I talk to says, I'm going to be ready and I'm going to be at home when it happens. Okay? I'm going to give you a 24-hour synopsis of most everyone's daily life. Everybody gets up and has a half-hour drive to work. Most everyone works an 8-hour day. Most everyone has a half-hour drive back home to work. That's 9 hours right there that you're out of your home. Most everyone gets about 5 hours of sleep. Between those two things, that's 14 hours that you're out of your home or unconscious to what's going on. That leaves 10 hours left of your day. Everyone has a 2-hour event every day. Whether it's you playing softball or you going to the gun range or your wife taking the kids to gymnastics or your wife has yoga, somebody in your family has a 2-hour event on average every single day. Somebody's going somewhere. You're taking the kids to baseball, taking the girls to gymnastics or yoga or whatever it is. So that's another 2 hours. That's 16 hours already that you're either unaware of what's going on or you're out of your home or unconscious. Now you think about that. Now, on average, everybody shops a half hour every single day. And I get that a lot. People say, well, how is it a half hour every day? I'm talking about everything. Whether you're getting gas, stopping at the Quick Mart to get a Pepsi, chips, whether you're going to the store, the grocery store, that time averages out. So again, there's more time you're away from home in a situation where you're not aware of what's going on. Doctor's appointments, another great example of when you're not aware of what's going on around you. And lastly, the worst case scenario. What happens if you're across town when stuff hits the fan? Do you have a plan for that? What happens if you are out of town? You're 1 or 2, 3 hours away from home, stuff hits the fan. Are you prepared for that? And worst of all, what if you're on vacation? Something happens, do you have a plan to figure out how to get from where you're at back to your loved ones and then eventually to your bug-out location? So with that, I'm just going to ask you guys if you have any more questions. Yes, sir. It's a great question. The question was have I ever used reflectix on a lean-to? The answer is yes, as long as it's not too close to the fire, because you don't want, obviously, your debris shelter to catch on fire, but it will reflect the heat. That's what's designed for. Well, considering that you're going to have clothes on, you might have a sleeping bag as well. You're going to have some tinder there as well. Just again, just use your best knowledge. But it depends how big the fire you're going to have there, you know, overflowing fire, things like that. So that's about it. But anyway, I am out of time, and I need to clean out the tables so the next speaker can come up. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. Thanks for listening.
What do you think, people? Guys do a great job, huh? Yeah. Coming up next, at the main stage, at 11, is What's Net Survival in Wild Bed, Ireland. And they're going to present an overview of the new American Red Cross guidelines for hands-only CPR. So that'll be happening at 11. That's a skill you can use. Happening, right now actually, at the demonstration stage